Spoiler alert, do you see this corner here of this painting? Well, that is the oil painting I'm gonna produce in Mastrry Program week 2. This week is all gonna be about more drawing classes, about learning how to shade and producing the next oil painting in 3 different layers. So let's just dive into it. It's Monday and I'm just about to start watching the first class of today. But the first exercise today is a drawing class again, basically about how to use the different shading techniques for graphite and charcoal, also how to work with different kind of hardness, different pencils. That was actually something which wasn't so new for me since I did some drawings before, but I still think it's kind of nice that they just pick you up from the start, and it's never wrong to just repeat something and just practice it a bit more. Another thing that I think is really helpful here for just if you're starting out on drawing classes is that they really made this difference between charcoal and graphite clear. Well, just after this drawing class, it's now time to just dive into the next class, which is the start of a new oil painting again. This time it's going to be a landscape.
This lesson is called indirect painting. So this is almost exactly like your previous lesson that you had, the previous section of Old Masters subtractive painting, except in reverse.
The first step of this painting is to create a vibrant underpainting. Following the instructions of Milan, I had to mix my own colors using an opaque white with different warms and cools, basically creating one paint for every color class. After eyeballing and loosely sketching the outlines, I had to figure out the different basic colors of my source and trying to match the same color class with my vibrant paints. In the training for this exercise, Ellie also taught about using neutrals in addition to warms and cools to create more depth in the painting, paying attention to back, middle and foreground. This is what the painting looks right now after the first session, and it really is like the instructor Ellie told in the video.
And you're gonna see it and think it's probably the worst painting you ever saw in your life.
That it looks like a kindergarten child would have painted it, just like really bright, splashy colors. I mean, you can see a little that it's a landscape, but it doesn't really look like anything. So I'm pretty curious how I will be able to transform this into an actual painting the next days. I chose my source. I'm gonna draw 2 apples, since we should use the scale tool again to draw from the paper basically. I decided, because my printer is broken, that I will use my tablet. Also, we should do this exercise in a time frame of 45 minutes. So just in case I take longer than I should, I decided to put a timer for 45 minutes. Just gonna leave the 9 seconds because, I don't know, I might be weird, but I like this uneven numbers a lot. Okay, let's go! After finding my frame to work in and figuring out the middle, I measured all the important points and length with the scale tool and put them in relation to each other. For some reason my camera didn't record the audio, so just imagine me saying this.
After blocking in the shades, starting with the midtones and layering more darks on top, I use my paper blending stump to smooth everything out and make the whole piece come together.
Oh, that was close. So I stopped right here because I was running out of time and I really didn't want to go over this 45 minutes. So as you see, it's a rough apple sketch, but for 45 minutes I think that's pretty okay.
After doing 3 exercises on one day, the sun already started to settle down, so all what was left to do was some cleaning.
So this is the second lesson to the indirect painting that you've started.
Somehow I'm in a super good mood today. I don't know why exactly. Maybe it's because it's such a nice sunny day today, or maybe I have so much energy because we went to friends yesterday and had a nice dinner. We ate Kässpätzle. If you don't know this German food, check it out. Super heavy but super tasty. Anyways, yeah, I'm really looking forward to continue with this oil painting here.
The next and second layer of the oil painting was supposed to be a dark glaze. I just have a warm black instead of a cool one, so Paolo helped out and suggested to take Prussian blue and raw umber, since these two cool colors will create a super dark color too that comes pretty close to black. It felt super weird to cover everything up, but exactly that is when you need to tell yourself, just trust the progress. At least I was repeating it like 1,000 times in my mind. After the glazing was done, I subtracted the outlines and basic shades out of it, just like I learned to do it in the oil painting classes of the first week.
Well, I'm all done now with the subtractive glaze layer. It's all dark. That was actually kind of tough. I struggled so much with just seeing my outlines of the underpainting. Like, maybe I got it a bit too dark at the beginning, I don't know, but I was just working forwards, backwards, like just wasn't able to see my lines. Also, I struggled because the paint already started to dry and I wasn't able to take the paint away with my subtraction tool. It's time to open a new brush cleaner. So I thought I used this opportunity to show you actually what I'm using here. I did some research and I found this, I think called, yeah, green, green for oiled, saying it on the sign here. So these, they are non-toxic, not dangerous for your health. I hope this is at least a bit better than the rest that you can find out there in the market, and what should I say, so far they work fine for me. Since I still have a lot of time today, I will just prepare my Instagram post for today. Guys, I really hope this painting is dry now. It took so long, like I thought. With the medium I used, it should dry quicker. I don't know what went wrong this time. I just really hope that I can do it today, because I also kind of want to really get this vlog done until Sunday, so that means I have to record the rest of the video today so I can edit it in time. Yeah. Keep your fingers crossed. Well, if I touch it, especially the more paint loaded areas, I can still feel that it's sticky a bit. I guess actually I should wait a bit longer, but I want to move on, so I will just try. I hope I don't mess it up. Here I don't want to limit myself with my colors, so I just decided to put all of them out on my palette.
Since I wasn't sure about which brushes I would use, I just took a bunch of them and placed them next to my working area, even though I ended up just using half of them. Since my darks were lost in some areas, I started refreshing them with cool colors. I had to pay a lot of attention to not overwork here and put a dark glaze all over the canvas again. Afterwards, it was time for opaques. Working from back to middle to front and from cool colors to neutrals to warms, I added my middle tones and then the highlights on top. Even though the process was quite challenging for me, again working with these loose brush strokes made the exercise super fun. I just love how fast this painting evolved. This way to paint feels much more intuitive and it's easy to get into a flow. I was working a bit more than 2.5 hours on this layer and they just passed by in a flash.
I'm well done now, the painting is finished. Yeah, that's a loud car outside. I think like the highlights at the end just really did it for me. All the way before I was thinking like, oh no, what am I doing here? But with the highlight, it always kind of comes together. So yeah, I'm pretty happy how it turned out. So I thought I'm finished now with the classes for this week, but actually I forgot a small sketchbook exercise, so I'm just gonna do this quickly right now.
This exercise was about imagining a light source that hits a sphere from different directions and draw the suiting shading to it. This helped out to understand better how light works on an object and how to make it look realistic.
Well, but now that's it for this week. So I finished all of my classes. Looking back to the whole week 2 of the Mastrry program, I can say that it definitely brought me out of my comfort zone so much. I mean, the shading class was okay, but this apple drawing, we had this limited amount of time, which was so less time for me. So it was pretty interesting to see what you can achieve in such a short amount of time, and it also helped to not do too much, not get into this perfectionism, which I tend to do. So I think for me it was just pretty uncomfortable situation, but also a pretty good exercise to just get out of this habit. The oil painting too was pretty challenging for me. I felt like with this I already messed it up a bit at the start, because I think my colors kind of were too light, like they weren't so vibrant underneath. So when I put the glaze layer on, I struggled so much to just see the shapes through that I created before. And when I extracted it out, there was also not so much of the underpainting left, so I think maybe the layer there was too thin, and the struggles continued on the third layer because I think I kind of used too much paint this time. Maybe also because I didn't have this vibrant underpainting which I was able to build up on. So at some points I guess I was overworking a bit. But in general I have to say that I also still kept some of this underpainting. At least I have a, I think, nice looking landscape now. With this being said, the Mastrry program week 2 comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Then I'm looking forward to see you next time in Mastrry Program Week 3.
I had a dream, the sun was shining all on your face and on mine too, in our favorite place.